Greetings, dear ladies. There's a pause before I start for my partner to step away. These channels are unique. They're unique because the man in the chair does not stay. He is removed from the information, not because it's secret, but to honor the fact that the meeting is for the gender that is present. It is the respect of the sisterhood that we speak of. And after all of these channels and after all of this time, it begins to shape up to what the sisterhood is truly about. When it began, it was simple. The simplicity often was because of Meliha. She had, let us say, time to learn. What would be presented, how her role in the sisterhood would be remembered, what she would do. The advancement now of the sisterhood is faster, perhaps, than even she wants. But this is the way of it, because now the remembrance is going to start to increase. The sisterhood was many things. It wasn't really even called the sisterhood. You see, it was regular life. Lemurian is a culture that is simple. It is the beginning. The women who met for any reason at all had purpose. You would think, because of what goes on in this room and now, and what is going to happen, you would think that the sisterhood is all about ceremony. It isn't. Ceremony was done sparingly. We've talked about the shamanic principles that were shared from the women to the men. But how can you have all of the women be shamans? You can't. So what it was, dear ladies, was a shaman school. Meliha was the teacher, and she had her teacher. And all through the generations of women that she taught, it was the principles of shamanship. We have said this before, but now it becomes refined. The women helped to guide the men and the tribes and all that was. But not all the women were doing it. They were learning. Because when they returned in another life, that is what they would capture and remember and continue. If the Pleiadians had anything to teach, it was this: that the gender is magnificent. That the gender contains that which is soft, compassionate, wise. The gender can teach easier than the men. The gender is the one who informs slowly and teaches their children slowly. The gender is built for it. And that is why you are who you are. Even today, you know that. If you look even in schooling, so many of your gender are the teachers. It is absolutely natural. And so what about this school of shamans? The women learning, even in the one lifetime, the women who excelled would go on to be the elders, and they would teach other women. Meliha could only teach the core group. Some of you were there. So what were the lessons? What is it you teach a shaman? Dear ones, I'll tell you, it is not information. It's processes. Last week we sat in front of you giving you one of the processes. And we said one of the processes that must be learned quickly and fast, trust your intuition. To develop your intuition to a point where you would know you are correct and you would move on it. This instead of a position of suspecting you are all right and then asking everyone around you. That's not what a shaman does. People go to you for advice. You cannot then go to others for advice. You have to know. You stand in your own knowing, and you know. So let's go to the next lesson. By the way, Meliha has been given many things in remembrance. I asked her where was the sisterhood, and now we have one. I asked her where were the songs, and now you have some. She was asked where are the codes and some of the secrets of healing and learning, and she has those. And now I say, where are the lessons? And she is developing them. There was a school. There had to be a syllabus. There had to be lessons. What do you teach shamans? You don't teach them to sing. You don't teach them how to celebrate. You don't teach them ceremony. You give them the core of shamanic nature. Number one, trust your intuition. Here is the second lesson. Right today, you, as you sit, ladies, learning that which you remember from a circle a long time ago, what do you do with your intuitive thought besides trust it? Many of you shelve it. I'll think about it later. Oh, it's true. Yes, it's accurate, but not now. Let me ask you something. In this new energy, when you're given an intuitive thought, do you really think you're supposed to put it in the drawer? Or perhaps you're to act on it faster than you would have. Lesson 2, don't just trust your intuition, act on it now. Now, this is important, especially for this new energy. In an older energy, all of you sitting in these chairs would get an idea, perhaps mull it over, perhaps share it with others. Then you would trot it out again, as they say. Take a look at it again, maybe put it in the drawer. There was a resistance because it required action and change. It may even disturb the norm. That was then. This is now. I'm here to tell you that the intuitions that are being given to you and those women who are listening to this are ripe for the time. They wouldn't be given to you otherwise. Some of you right now are sitting on projects, and we are saying, yes. Why are you delaying? What is the reasoning? Do you think perhaps it's not time? It is time. There are books to be written in the room. There are projects to be launched. There's teaching to be done. We speak specifically of action items that many of you are feeling now. Perhaps some of you had the feeling and tried them before the 2012 shift, and they didn't work. We've said this before. The things that did not work in the old energy is because of the old energy. That is gone. They will work today. So I'm stirring the pot, am I not, in the room of those listening, perhaps of things that you had good intuition on, but you postponed, and you postponed. And now we're saying they're given to you, dear ones, in a sacredness of the shaman that you are. Proceed to look at them carefully and act on them in appropriate timing. Don't put them in the drawer. Some will say, I'm too busy. That is up to you. What is busy? Is it something that you invent so you won't have to do them? That makes you busy. Perhaps it's some things that you enjoy doing, and that makes you busy instead of really busy. This is up to you. Know who you are and what you are today. If you are indeed part of the sisterhood that was Lemurian, you have a purpose today. There are wonderful things that you are thinking of that you might do. Can you bring other women together and expand their thought of who they might be? Is it time, perhaps, to expand your thinking beyond what you did? If that is your intuitive thought, dear women, it's time. And so this particular lesson is this: besides trusting your intuition, learn to act on it quickly, and not in the past where you put it aside and put it aside. I'm speaking to several of you here and many who are listening. It's different today than it was before, especially for those who would find it in their akash to say, I am part of the core group that started it all. It's not about taking your power, dear women. It's about taking your wisdom and passing it on. This is what you do. Teachers all. And so it is.